Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the 5th week of the 6th season here at Minor League Doubles. We just saw the Ducks take down the Flames 4-1. Quite a commanding lead. They took over the Flames, and that wasn't the Platinum League. We are now moving into the Champion League with the Hawks and the Comets. A lot of familiar names here, not only amongst the players, but hopefully also in the booth by this point. Jay, of course, is the daddy of all things MLD, and I am just here to support him. That's about it.
I'm more like the crazy uncle that does really dumb things to make you like him.
I'll take it. Whatever, dude. Daddy, uncle, it's all the same.
Yeah, okay, so Comets and Hawks, two teams kind of in the same boat here. The Hawks at 9-11 right now, the Comets 8-12, both below that 500 mark, both kind of looking up at tough divisions in the Blue Conference. So both of these teams probably in need of a big win here in a bad way, and it's going to be tough, to be honest. And I'm just taking a quick look at the wildcard race in the two conferences right now. The Hawks probably the closest to that line right now at 9-11, but 5-0 for either one of these teams. We're right back in that conversation for one of those two wildcard spots.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it. And because all the players are here, all four of them, they can go ahead and join in. If the players are listening, please go ahead and join your respective sides. The Hawks and the Comets once again. It is a usual set of 5. The Hawks in the red and the Comets in the blue.
Alternate colors for the Comets here. They're orange, just a little bit too close to the red of the Hawks. And
yeah,
Hawks with first choice of colors as given by me, because I decide the colors when I get into a lobby, and if they look weird, I change them.
Okay, that sounds reasonable to me, and hopefully to the viewers. But we are into the opening game of this best of 5. It's Hell. Am I allowed to say that on stream?
I mean, it's his name.
Okay, fair enough. Hell and Ellendale up against Midnight and Alstado. I'm going to assume that it's Midnight and not Midnidget. Does that make no sense?
You know what? Let me check the media guide while you figure it out.
Okay, I'll just go with Midnight for now, because that is easier to say and more familiar to my brain. There's Alstado, out towards the right side, picks up some boost on his way to the wall. Finds a touch out towards the corner. Hell, though, with a hell of a long clear out towards the corner. Ellendale is there as well. Up high towards the ceiling. Midnight beaten out by that pass. In comes Hell for a shot. Strikes towards the near post, but very far away from it. And in the end, 0-0 will still hold here in the opening game as both teams trying to figure out how they want to approach this match. We've seen the Hawks at least look for high plays off from the corners, whereas Midnight and Alstado for the Comets are trying some more individual things from the wall. They try to play it out towards the wall in the midfield and then take a long shot on net. Midnight getting tested there, passing the test with a B+. Not the best clear, but certainly not the worst either. There's Hell looking for yet another one. Ellendale will take a shot towards the near post, and that'll be it. The Hawks up by 1 early in game 1.
Media guide says it is, in fact, Midnight. And also chat pointing out that Hell was Hell Rising, just shortened his name down there. As a lot of Hell Rising fans out in the chat there. Hello to all of you out there in the chat, as your boys Hawks are up 1-0 here to start this game 1.
And just a minute and a half in as well. They have spread the wealth. They've shared the wealth in terms of shots on net. Each player picking up 2, and the Comets have only been able to save 2 of those shots. So the 2 that they couldn't save, one of them went in, the other one went wide. There's Ellendale pushing forward. Midnight, though, will find a clear out towards the corner. Ellendale not giving up. Let's see how much boost he has. I'm going over to him. He's got 57 boost, so he can make it back in time and even maybe contest the ball. Alstado out towards the wall. Once again, this is where the Comets like to play from. A long touch from the wall. He's going to dribble it down underneath the crossbar. Tucks it. Good night for the Comets, 1-1.
Good control by Alstado here. Improved so much after last season when he got drafted first overall by the Bears and ranked out of the league before he could really make a huge impact. Which might have been the season before, actually. But either way, Alstado improved quite a bit there, as evidenced by his consistent aerial control on that one. Good equalizer scored for the Comets.
Yeah, I'll say it before and I'll say it again. If you want to improve in Rocket League, the first most basic place to go to is ranked. Then you go to 6-mans. But if you really, really want to improve and have a consistent teammate, MLD is the place to be. 2:38 on the clock. There is Hell for the Hawks, pushing out to the left side, gets a touch towards net, not the best one though. Alcedo will clear it away with some difficulty. Net difficulty is that it's a weak clear, and Ellendale can pick up on it.
Yeah, really good touch by Hell there. Alcedo forced into a save. It's a solid one, just doesn't get enough into the corner. Midnight coming across the shot from Ellendale one time, right at halftime, 2-1 Hawks.
Yeah, they've picked it up nicely. They started off a bit slow. We saw the Comets really find the first scary attempt on net around the 4-minute mark, but since then, they've continued to just share the wealth in terms of shots on net. They're split 3-4 right now as one just ricochets off the crossbar. No defenseman home, but as we all know, that crossbar can prove to be a better defender than Cooks here. There's Hell out towards the right side. We'll bump away Midnight and look to push forward. It's out to the corner, needs a second touch, and he did find it, so he knows that he needs that second touch. Just has to be a bit better next time as Alcedo rushes forward, looks for the disruptive play, looks to get physical here in the opening game. You see teams usually not open up that physical play. Bumps and demos for a lot of teams are, not second nature. They take some time to get used to. They won't start doing them until they feel like they really have to. But the Comets looking to just come out strong in game one, establish dominance in the opening 3 minutes as Ellendale almost finds his third goal of the game. Midnight, though, clears it away.
And you talk about physical play, if you're not really comfortable with it, it's tough to get into, but when you develop a system built around that being one of your first options, it really becomes second nature to look for those bumps, to make those follow-throughs when you make the offensive rotations, and they go a long way against teams that aren't ready for them.
It doesn't even take away that much, because, I mean, when you're rotating back, depending on how you committed to the play, on your rotation back towards your own net, they're really maybe only 0.2 seconds of extra time you have to take to find a bump. So it doesn't, cost you that much in terms of time if you're good at it. And it seems like the Comets are good at it. You see Alcedo, especially off of his passes, he'll look for demos. Even when he's, the striker, he's still hunting down demos, looking to just, in any shape, way, or form, disrupt the defensive rotations of this Hawks team with only 48 seconds left to go. A demo or a bump might be the game changer here for the boys in blue, as Alcedo, a much needed clear from him. Midnight follows up as well. Alcedo now with a shot on net. Just kidding. Doesn't even make contact with it. Midnight, though, does find a clear.
An important clear, but they're down to 30 seconds to look for this equalizer, and the Hawks rotating really well until that one. Hell with a misplay in the back end, but Ellendale, huge demo, coming back on defense, will eliminate that threat.
There's Ellendale. If you can find one more shot on net and secure it, that'll be the victory for them in game one. The Comets, though, are not out of it just yet. There's a shot on it from Hell. Goes towards near post. Alcedo deflects it out and away. Alcedo from afar. Is that the equalizer? It is. From pitch end to end. Secures it. Well done from the Comets.
I don't know if there was a bump in the backfield on Ellendale. I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure Midnight was on the opposite side, but Ellendale coming in for that play, nowhere near the ball, and Alcedo goes right up Main Street to tie it here late.
3 seconds to go. We'll see if somebody can just win it in regulation time. That's going to be a no as we head into overtime 2-2. And just look at how active each team has been. Hawks with 10 shots, the Comets with 7.
Yeah, it's 17 shots in a 2-2 regulation game, and neither one of these teams is giving up. They're both swinging for those nets. Just very, very tough to get it through at the moment.
So Ellendale out towards the corner. He's got 2 defensemen there, though there's no way he 1v2s that with a shot like that, and yeah, he doesn't. There's Midnight now, picking up some boost and looking to steal away the defensive side boost. Actually goes forward towards the ball instead and tries to steal away the boost on his rotation back, and is successful in that area. There he is now, Midnight for a shot, tucks it underneath the crossbar yet again. That is the 8th shot on net for the Comets and only their 3rd goal.
Yeah, Ellendale unfortunately beaten by that play, and you see Hell just committing a little bit too early to that near post as it develops. Midnight unmarked in front, puts that in. The Comets with the team play will take game 1 in overtime.
Well done from them, and we said it was, very active offensively from both sides. We haven't seen this too often, right? You see 18 shots and only 5 goals to show. When you think 18-shot game, you're thinking 7-5, 7-6, something crazy like that. But this was only 3-2. This, we could have seen half the shots on net, maybe even a third of the shots on net, and still had a very similar scoreline. So a very, very open game, and the teams, sort of taking turns, attacking, then going back and defending. Not that much midfield play at all.
I'll tell you the one difference between these two teams, though. The Hawks with 10 shots, the Comets had 7 saves with 2 goals against. The Comets, conversely, 8 shots, 3 goals, but only 1 save out of the Hawks. So despite having similar shot numbers, the quality of those shots much lower as they hit the backboard quite a bit.
Yeah, that is, again, a great stat to look at. Look at the number of shots that didn't go in that also had to be saved. That tells you how scary the shots were, and it really helps you to sort of have a secondary statistic to look at. So instead of comparing just shots versus shots, you can compare, shots missed and not saved versus shots missed and not saved. It gives you a new perspective on things, and that may be, a hint as to how the Comets were able to secure that victory there in the overtime. This is game 2, though. In this set of 5, the Comets leading the series 1-0. There's Midnight with a long clear out towards the crossbar, follows up on it, but Hell's able to beat him to the punch there and look to rotate forward now with Ellendale on the ball. It's a weak touch. Alcedo, textbook from him, and it's out towards the midfield line. Looks to be a bit greedy there. He tried to, he hoped that Hell had 0 boost, but Hell had much more than that and really was in a good enough position to make the clear there. There he is now, out towards Ellendale from the corner. Alcedo then will pick the ball back up, play to the left side, and look to carry forward now. He's looking for a service to his teammate, and he tried to, get underneath it, use the part where the ball, where the wall meets the ground to get a nice loft on it, but made no contact in the end. There's Ellendale towards the net. We'll go out towards the left side, and Midnight will find a clear. The opening minute has passed of this game, and we said it was overall in game 1 a very open game and not that much midfield play. Same thing here in game 2. Very open, not too much midfield play.
Yeah, a lot of these teams, a lot of these plays for each team, going just back and forth, end to end. Couple of chances at either end and a clear, and they set up the other way. And both these teams, I think, really just content to try and put it into a track meet and see which team's going to tire out first.
Yeah, and we saw it take a lot for either team to tire out, right? Because we went to overtime, so they endured through a full 5 minutes. Alcedo coming in for the Comets with that, last-second clutch goal, and that clutch goal ended up being, the game changer. That's how they won the game, because they won it in overtime after that. So huge from Alcedo there in the final 10 seconds of that opening game. But they're on to game 2, so Alcedo, coming off that high, has to get back down to earth, relax himself here, prepare for a gruesome next 4 matches, and this is match 2 of those 4 as the Hawks open up the game 1-0.
Midnight on this play, you can see him going back and really should have just finished that rotation as Alcedo got up, won the challenge, but it wasn't clean. In turning around, I think he kind of ran out of boost, didn't put himself in a great place to defend as he cut down his ability to react to that shot as it came in.
Only a 1-0 so far, but still pretty active. We're not seeing as many shots, but I think we're still seeing as much time on either side of the pitch as Hell finds an empty ball. You got to ask yourself, why are the Comets so overextended off of a kickoff?
I don't know. I will just let that one go because you can see them both careen off that backboard after the play, and when you have 2 players on the backboard in 2v2, usually there's nobody left defending your net.
Yeah, sometimes you forget that you're playing 2v2, not 3v3. And sometimes you're like, should be our 3rd defender back, but he's not there. Wait a minute, we're not playing 3v3. It happens all the times, especially if you're like switching between queues, like in ranked or something. But this is a league, so they've already played a full game, so hopefully that's just a mistake. Hopefully they don't, think they're playing 3s again, because that is a mistake they do not want to repeat, because it is very easy at this level to capitalize on mistakes like that. Now Alcedo almost allowing yet another one to go, and thankfully he has gone back towards his own defensive half in time, though. There's Hell with a back pass to Ellendale. Nice connection there, combo play, and Ellendale once again looking to get to that curb where the wall meets the ground and loft it up to Hell, and he's tried it 2 times so far. Hasn't worked either of those times, and it doesn't matter because his team's still up by 2 overall in game number 2, and after going down in overtime in game 1, did not want to see another overtime. They'll be content with just taking it here in regulation. 1 minute and 55 seconds left to play as the Hawks push forward.
Thank you, West Connection to USE servers. I just completely disconnected for a good 12 seconds. But no harm, no foul. Still in. Nothing happened that we missed while my connection decided to go nuts. But Ellendale will pick this one off. Really solid play, and the Hawks are up 3.
Yeah, just thinking about the Comets here, they only have 1 shot on net so far. Last game in regulation time, they picked up solid 5 or 6 at least. So a very difficult a very different perspective that the Comets are taking on this game. They're being shut down. They're being suffocated by the Hawks. They're seeing very little time in the red zone, and when they are in the red zone, they seem to double commit. And this was just the Hawks just taking control of the situation, scoring their fourth goal.
As the replay gets broken here, because again, I've disconnected here. So it settles up before the thing. Okay, this is starting to get frustrating. That I have had problems on every single USE server I've been on all weekend.
I'll just tell you what happened. So, a real-life, literal Hawk came up from through one of the windows, grabbed the ball, chucked it into the net. It was insane, Jay. I'm so sorry you missed it.
I will have to take your word for it, Jim.
That's all you can do. Look at that. I'm taking advantage of you. I mean, I'm not. I'm telling the truth. 4-0, a minute and 13 on the clock. There's Alstedo looking for midnight. They're almost able to secure that passing pattern. Alstedo now struggling to find possession as Hell clears it out towards the right side of the pitch. He'll follow up on his own ball as well, looking for far post. What a shot. Almost nails it. Alstedo now in the air. We've seen him dribble and score like this before. Midnight meets him. Great connection, but again, that's a double commit from the Comets. If Hell can break away quickly, all hell breaks loose and almost goes into the back of the net. Alstedo, though, able to defend and deflect. 41 seconds to go. The Comets have to make a goal every 10 seconds, as according to my abacus, and that is going to be a difficult task. 28 more seconds, Jay. It's not looking good at all. We said the Comets, they're playing a very different game than they have previously, and you know, we checked 2 minutes ago, they were sitting at 1 shot on net. They're still sitting on 1 shot on net.
A lot of that just comes down to them not having the ball. Even when they have it on the red half, they're never threatening the front of that Hawks net right now. It's a complete shift in mentality, and it's really hard to pinpoint where that change happened, but a lot of it, I think, is just coming down to the Hawks being a little bit more aggressive to that ball.
Yeah, and look at how simple that was for Midnight, right? He's been in that position before, but he tried to be a bit too cheeky, try to roll it up the wall, maybe find some kind of a difficult pass, but instead he just said, I'm just going to shoot the ball. He forced Hell to make a save, and that could have been an open opportunity for Alstedo to possibly come in and score. So it's not that, you know, they don't have the ball on the right side of the pitch. That's why they're not making the shots. It's because sometimes they're trying to overcomplicate things. And we say it's not good to take shots just for the sake of taking shots, but it's also not good to not take shots at all because you're hunting down that perfect shot and you're never going to get that perfect shot.
I feel like a lot of that just came down to they were trying to hunt down control of the ball through a lot of that there and just really could never find it because the Hawks were always right on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks, excellent job from them. You know, they noticed that if they kept going back 1 for 1, 1 shot on it for another shot on it between the Comets, they couldn't win that out. They left it to an overtime, and sometimes it is sometimes a bit of a coin toss here and there in the overtimes because it's a golden goal, one small mistake, and you lose the entire 7 minutes of gameplay that you've been working hard. So they noticed that. They said, let's just suffocate the Comets. Let's just force them to not have any time on the right side of the pitch, and they weren't that successful. I mean, they did reduce the time that the Comets had, but the Comets, they double committed so many times that pretty much every single time they found themselves on the right side of the pitch, moments later, the Hawks were back on the blue side with an empty goal line to score on.
Yeah, but think about how the Comets tied it up in Game 1. The Hawks overcommitting really late, up 2-1, no need to put 2 players in, and you have to wonder how much that got etched in their minds, but as soon as I say that, the Comets with a glorious chance to take the lead, at Midnight putting that up really just has to put that in.
Yeah, thankfully it was early on, and once again, yet another empty net. Look at where the players are. Allendale's on the right side, rotating back. Hell's on the left side, just completely split and not on the same page.
Yeah, Alstedo, though, really good ball out in front there, as, again, the server is really starting to frustrate me, but it's a good pass by Alstedo, as I don't get to see the end of that replay. Neither does the stream, but Alstedo did all the work there, coming down off the boards to make that pass out front, and Midnight right on point to be able to finish it off.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 10 seconds of play left to go. Good early shot there from the Comets after, you know, messing up on one empty goal attempt. Alstedo out to Midnight once again. It's just turned. The Comets have put 4 shots in 56 seconds. They put 2 shots in 5 minutes last game. What a change.
And a lot of the problem for the Hawks on this play is the choice in how they rotate back. And Ellendale had to come back through the same way the ball is going, put himself in an awkward spot, and Hell really just couldn't do anything about that one because he lost a challenge.
Yeah, and speaking of challenges, both goals came from a well-done challenge from Alistato, using the back wall as a teammate to just pass it over to Midnight, and Midnight has scored those twice in a row now. And, you know, because Hawks are only leaving one defender back, and the defender is always committing to the challenge, if you win that challenge, you have an empty net, and 3 out of 2 times they've scored on that empty net. There's Midnight now with yet another empty net. He's off to the races and in to the back of the net. 5 shots on net from the Comets, 3 have gone in.
Sorry, did you just say 3 out of 2 times prior to this goal going in?
I meant 2 out of 3, but you know what? Reciprocals and the actual fraction are basically the same thing, you know? Whatever.
I was going to say that you can see the future.
Sometimes I can, but usually I think I can, and then I am completely wrong, and the chat has every right to make fun of me for being overconfident in my ability to predict the future. So, there you go. There's Midnight racing back. Ellendale pops one up high. There's an empty net. Midnight not there in time. Hell, though, committing too far up. You ask yourself, why was Hell so deep into the box there? He could have stayed back and given himself some more room to react to the backboard rebound, which did end up happening. And because he was so deep into the box, he had no room to react, and that meant that he could not find a shot on net to, you know, keep this deficit, close this gap, and keep it a close game. There's Ellendale out towards the backboard, looks for a demo on his rotation back. 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go here. Hell finds a clear. Midnight though is there, and 3-0 for the Comets. It's looking good for them as we head into the second half of Game 3.
Yes, Alstato was doing donuts on my screen because I've disconnected again. I'm gonna have to see if we can remake the server after this one. It seems like I'm the only person, because I know you're fine, right, Shim? Everybody else in the game
I'm
is
just
still
making
playing
stuff up. It's super laggy for me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It is perfectly fine for me. So it probably is just you. I'm sorry, it's a headache. But again, I'll just tell you about all the wild animals that jump in through the windows here at Urban Central Night. There is a shot on net from, I think that was Ellendale, as Alstato deletes him from the map. There's Midnight now pushing away, beats one defenseman again, using that wall to force the defender to commit. Alstato needs a shot on net. There it is, and that could have been goal 4. That really was setting up to be a repeat of the previous 3 goals. An empty net because of a 1 challenge on the ground, and they almost scored a 4th time off of that. There's Ellendale out towards the corner. Midnight, though, will have the clear.
Comets doing really well right now, just keeping control of this game. They're not committing in heavily compared to the Hawks, who have been desperate for a goal since the early part of it, especially down once they hit that 3-0 part, and Hell was in on that chance, and you pointed it out, like, why is he so close to that backboard on the play? It's just because they're so hungry for that goal. Now the time has ticked down so far that it's very difficult for them to get back in this.
Minute and 12 seconds to go. 3 goals to make up. We saw, you know, the Comets last game sitting in a similar position where they had like 40 seconds to score 4 goals. Their opponents now in a very similar spot. And there's Ellendale from the corner. Midnight, though, will clear it away. And at this point, as much as Alstato and Midnight, but especially Alstato, like to win challenges off the backboard, like to, you know, force defensemen to commit and be aggressive on the red side of the pitch, they really don't have to be anymore. They can play passive, play how they were playing for the majority of game number 2, really. Sit back, not focus too much on doing anything crazy, and win the game. Just off this 3-0 lead they've been able to build up in the opening 4 minutes. Or score a 4th time. That also works.
Yeah, Alstato really, really well pulling in Ellendale there. And you see Hell get stuck in net, really hesitant on that one. So difficult to defend the dribble with Midnight picking that ball up, and you're stuck in net. It's really hard to get that timing down. It's a really well-worked goal for that 4th one.
And that pretty much is the game. And once again, what a huge reverse. We saw in game 1, both teams come out, you know, on fire. 10 shots from the Hawks, 8 shots from the Comets. And then in game 2, the Hawks sort of kept up with their pace from game 1, and the Comets died down. And in game 3, the reverse happened. The Comets found their pace again from game 1, and the Hawks lost it. The Hawks only putting on 3 shots. The Comets with a solid 9, might even turn to 10 before we hit the 0-second mark, and just a complete reversal of the roles in game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like the teams, after a really balanced game one, kind of taking turns with the track meet. Hawks really only able to muster 3 shots on goal in that game, and you have to wonder where the offense went, and I can't tell you, because I missed half the game thanks to the disconnects.
I can tell you. A leprechaun came and took all the offense, and then ran away. That's what happened. So the next time you see a rainbow, try to find the end of it, and you might see a bag full of offense. At least half of the offense of the Hawks, and you can use it in your own Rocket League games. Don't take that for granted. But we are going to find a new server unless we're not. And I lied to you. Jay is just reconnecting to the server.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could shimmy my connection back into not being garbage on this one. We'll see. If we still disconnect in Game 4, then I'll just suffer through Game 5, because that means we'll get a remake anyway when we start the 3rd series of the night.
Yeah.
As long as everybody at home enjoys watching people drive around in circles on the replay, there's no problem, right?
I mean, no. There's no problem. Do you people, tell us in the chat, do you enjoy watching people run around in donuts during the replays? Do you like knowing that you're being lied to by Psyonix? Do you like knowing that Rocket League is lying to you on the replay? If you do, stay tuned, because there's hopefully, what's the opposite of hopefully? I can't think of the word. I need a thesaurus. I got nothing. But hopefully there is no more of that. 4:36 on the clock. There's Midnight rotating back. We'll clear it out towards the left side. Allendale out towards the center circle. Picked up though by Alstedo off the second touch, and Hell will find a nice clear. Needs Allendale though to back him up as he plays it out towards the corner. Midnight looking to contest and use that backboard once again. This is a huge change from game number 3 for the Hawks, and I was going to say they're not, double committing anymore on the defensive side, but they just double committed again, so never mind. As the Hawks, after 3 shots in just a matter of 40 seconds, find goal 1.
Not really sure how that one broke down. I don't know where Ellendale went, but Hell just could not get that ball upfield effectively. The Comets' pressure for the first minute pays off as they get the first goal.
Yeah, speaking of donuts, chat, what are your favorite kinds of donuts? I'll ask Jay as well. Jay, what is your favorite donut?
Maple dip, easy.
My man. Sometimes we're not on the same page, and then sometimes we are. I love it. 1-1, the Hawks are able to tie it up.
At Midnight, nowhere near playing that ball, and Ellendale just picks this up uncontested, bumping Alstedo right across the net. Can't recover in time, and Hell's at the far post to tap that one in.
Somebody said hot dog. That is not a donut, but nice try. There's Alstedo out towards the far post. Will be popped up instead. Hell looking for the ground pinch. Tries to retain some control with that. There goes Midnight. Down back to himself. Looks for a touch on it. Dips it underneath. Smart choice. He had the option of, going underneath the ball, playing it up, or going above the ball, playing it down. He took the right option, and Alstedo gets the rebound from the pass from Midnight, and the Comets are back up 2-1.
Yeah, Hell just unfortunately loses control of that dribble out of his own end. Really has to be a little bit more effective with that clear as Alstedo picks him off with the wall shot. But I have a question for you, Shim. If a hot dog is not a donut, is it a sandwich?
No. A hot dog is not a sandwich. I'm sorry, but it is not. It is its own special food.
I agree with you.
Okay.
But I just wanted to see if you were in that weird camp of sandwich people.
No, it's not a sandwich at all. No, it's just its own food. Why does that have to be people? Here's really quick. Here's my, Chim's life stories. I think people categorize things too much. People have this tendency to always want to categorize things, and they do it too often. Like, I'm a type B person. I'm a type A. I'm an introvert. I'm like, stop categorizing yourself. Just be an individual. And hot dogs are an individual food. They do not need to be categorized into the sandwich category. So, stop. That's my rant. There's Alstedo out towards the right half. Aldo will pick it up, look for a touch back to his teammate. Can't find it though, and will continue the play forward. Top of the box, Ellendale looks to strike one on net. It's an empty red goal line as Alstedo pushes forward, and that is it. 3-1 for the Comets.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Hawks just get beat by Alstedo. They're not really sure how he won that challenge, but you know what? It doesn't matter. He's past the last line of defense, which happens to be 12 feet in front of his own goal line. Goes right upfield, just enough boost in the tank to get there. 3-1. The Hawks need a response.
Yeah, I don't know hot dogs had flavors for the person asking in chat, but I don't know. I guess
cheddar
bread
cheese,
and
easy.
sausage. Oh, that's a topping though. That's not like a flavor.
No,
like she's inside the hot dog.
Yeah, like she's inside the hot dog.
Yeah. Okay, then I have to back you up on the cheddar cheese. There's Allendale, out towards the right side. Stato looking to push forward. Allendale though wins it out, plays it to the center circle. Hell looking for a strike from afar. You saw him be aggressive. He noticed that the only thing he could do with the ball, if he even won the contest, was to clear it and try to boom it towards the net. It did not work out though. There's Stato towards the red net yet again off of a bounce from the wall. Hell is struggling to find possession and finally puts it up the wall, and the ball still stuck in this quadrant of the pitch for a very long time. Stato finally gives that quadrant some breathing room. There's Midnight out towards the left post, and nothing to show for that. But a 3-1 lead for the Comets. The Hawks a bit more awake than they were in game number 3, but not awake enough to compete with the Comets at this point.
Yeah, but all it takes is a couple of quick shifts in momentum, and right now the Hawks just don't seem to be getting that. When that ball gets out to midfield, the Comets are right there waiting, and there's not a ton of pressure from the players in red at the moment. It's like they've kind of fallen back inside their own shell, inside their own half. They're just not able to get this one upfield and pressurizing.
There's Allendale for the Hawks, playing it out towards his own corner just to find possession here. Stato misses out. Allendale wins it, but that's a very weak touch, and Midnight was in position to keep the ball in the red side of the pitch, and that's the job for the Comets. Keep the ball in the red zone, force it to not be in the blue zone, and you have won the victory. You have won the game. You have secured the victory with 55 seconds remaining. There's Midnight looking for goal 4. Aimed towards the far post with a shot a bit exaggerated to go in. Allendale now dropping it down. Stato picks it up, plays it out towards Midnight, or else he tries to, and it doesn't really matter because the Comets, they can keep trying shots like that. As long as they're putting shots on net, it's enough to disrupt the forward movement of the Hawks.
And the midfield presence right now by the Comets, all they need at the moment, they just don't have to press that ball any further upfield than midfield, because the Hawks right now are just not able to get it past them because of the way that they're not controlling their clears, they're not setting up good 50-50s. They can't generate any consistent offense.
13 seconds to go, and we may as well call it here. The Comets have secured their victory in the series overall in Game 4 after, winning an overtime game in Game 1, struggling greatly in Game 2, going down 5-0, having nothing to show on the scoreboard, not just nil goals, but only mustering up 2 shots on net. Came back booming in Game 3, booming in Game 4, and as they move into Game 5 now, they're set, but a Game 5 victory is imminent if they continue to play this well.
Yeah, the Hawks just could not get out of their own end for long stretches of that game, and that's a big reason why they were only able to generate 3 shots on goal, Chim. And I think the adjustment really has to be a little bit more control with the ball out of their own end. They can't just give it right to midfield. They can't just let it go, let the Comets get back to it. They need to make sure that they have at least a follow-up 50-50 at midfield to try and get that ball into the Comets' end and force them to retreat.
Yeah, and the chat continuing with very interesting things like, if a Pop-Tart is a sandwich, so is a burrito. I don't know why you're talking about Pop-Tarts and burritos, but hey man, I like where you're going with that. 0-0, it is game number 5. The Hawks and the Comets, the Hawks have already lost, but I think if the Hawks can not even win, but just keep it close, right? Because they dominated in game number 2. They found the secret to beating this Comets team, and part of that secret was not just suffocating the Comets into their own defensive half, but also taking advantage of double commits from the Comets. And the Comets, because they're no longer double committing that often, rarely at all really, they can't be capitalized on that much, as Allendale with a pass to Hell with a shot to the net works out nicely for the Hawks.
Yeah, the Comets actually do get kind of caught in the same spot there. Midnight rotating back. He's right next to Stato as he gets that awkward touch right up in the center. Hell with a great shot. It goes Bardowski's, crosses that line. And that is a little bit of momentum for the Hawks, but they have to build on it.
Yeah, they have to build quickly as well, because the Comets are very good at finding pressure and building on it themselves. So the only way to to prevent the Comets from building on pressure is to build pressure of your own, to once again suffocate the Comets in their own defensive half. Hell with a much needed save, plays one outwards as the pass from Stato comes in. There's Midnight now out from the corner. Hell though will find a clear and play it away. There's Stato losing the contest to Allendale on the ground. Midnight has to race backwards and he'll find a nice parry, but he is lacking in boost, greatly lacking in boost really. pushing upwards, though, with his team regardless. There he is now. Minimal boost, maximum potential almost works out for his team, but in the end, no. Him and Alcedo are set defensively now for this shot from the Hawks. Ellendale on the ball. Alcedo clears it away. 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go as a stray ball almost hits the back of the blue net.
Yeah, a little bit awkward from the Hawks there. They got caught in a really tough spot, and the ball came down off their backboard, fell onto Ellendale in front of the goal. Luckily, didn't bounce towards it there, but just a little bit of panic as they came back. They kind of hurried themselves back towards that goal line. Really just need to keep that out of their play if they want to maintain this 1-goal lead and build on it. And
well, Stato, though. Yep. It happens too often to us casters. We say one thing, we feel very confident and proud as we say it. The exact opposite happens, and we remember that we are, you know, platinum scrubs, and we don't know anything. 1-1, though. There's the equalizer from the Comets.
But I'm champ 2.
Oh. When I said we, I meant myself, but I said we so I could feel less bad about myself.
I play like a plat 3, but I'm actually champ 2.
I'm actually Diamond 1, Div 2 in like standards, so you know, back off, bro. I'm pretty crazy at this game. There's Midnight out from the corner, missing out to Hell. There's a huge pinch out towards the ceiling. Ellendale looking from the midfield for a shot on net instead. Decides to keep possession. Hell missing out completely. Alcedo looking to race forward, capitalize on this open window that has been provided by the Hawks. Ellendale, though, will thankfully be able to defend against his previous mistake and clears it away. Alcedo, though, is waiting patiently, looks for an inside cut towards Midnight. The idea was there, execution, though, a bit lacking. Once again, yet another pass where the idea from Alcedo is there. Midnight, though, not quite on the same page sometimes. He is now, as he takes a shot towards the net. There's a clear from Hell. Half the game to go. It is still 1-1, almost 2-1 there as the Hawks score a goal, but this is going back to game 1. It's looking a lot like game 1, really. A lot of shots on net, but a very close, tight series.
Yeah, really tough to see who's going to win this one. We saw what happened in game 1. This kind of back and forth with no scoring out of either team, where you get a lot of shots, not a lot of goals. It's really tough to pick a winner out of these because it's going to come down to a mistake here or there.
Yeah, it really is. We saw it come down to a mistake in overtime, of all things. In game 1, when we were sitting at 2-2, we went into overtime and the Comets won it. So we'll see if a similar thing happens, and it really should, because when games are this close, your margin of error is reduced greatly from games where more shots on net, more goals are going into the back of the net, because you have a bit more room for error there. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to play. There's Hal from the corner. Looks to pass one down to Ellendale. Does not work out, though, and his team will now have to back out towards the backboard, find a strong clear. Off the wall now, Alcedo. Not getting the touch he wants at all, just dancing in the air, flailing his arms around, hoping for the best. There's Hell, though. A shot towards net. It's a very soft bounce, and bounce shots sometimes find the defenseman off guard, but not that one. A minute more to play. The team still tied 1-1. Somebody has to break this deadlock.
You know what this whole series in general has kind of lacked? I just kind of realized that. It's lacked really spectacular highlight reel individual efforts. It's been a lot of really good fundamental Rocket League, and that's really good to see because it really shows which team as a whole is succeeding really well.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find this. You're not going to find this kind of stuff, you know, when you're starting to be a PhD in Rocket League. But when you're just getting started, you're going to, you know, rotations 101, passes 101. Basically, when you're looking to get that bachelor in Rocket League, this is the kind of stuff that's going to be in the textbook. Stuff like this. And like you said, nothing too fancy, but it's working out for both sides. 18 more seconds to go. There's Hell out towards the left side. We'll pick up some boost, and he has a pass out towards Ellendale. The near post almost found his Midnight, a goal line save. Ellendale looks to cut back inside. Does not work out, though. And Alcedo, we saw his last-second tactics in game number 1. Can he do it again? It's on his hood. He needs a flick. Ellendale, though, will play it out towards the ground. That should be overtime. 1-1. A similar situation to the opening game, but now it's the final game of the series.
Yeah, the Hawks need this one to try and mitigate the losses. The Comets really would like that 4th win. Try and make up some ground on their division. We'll see which teams got it in them as Hawks have to defend early in OT.
Now the Hawks breaking out towards the left side. Midnight, not the best clear. Alcedo recognizes that and saves his teammate's butt. There's Ellendale out towards the right corner. Steals away the defensive side boost. Not too worried about committing to that play as long as he can steal away boost. Force Midnight to play at a slower pace. And Midnight reciprocates by picking up the defensive side boost on the other side of the pitch. There's Hell pushing forward. Ellendale waiting at the midfield, not overextending though, and here he goes, backing away from the play, waiting for an opportunity to steal the ball away. There it is. He plays it out towards the corner, needs a second touch, and looks for that service to Hell, but finds no contact. A minute gone so far. Alcedo looking for a pass. It's a very, very fast one. No way Midnight reads that one. A minute gone, and the team still not able to find the golden goal in Game 5.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth here, but we saw this a lot in the first overtime as well. It really came down to just one little mistake by the Hawks coming down on offense, got themselves a little out of position to lose that 50-50. And back and forth we still go here as the team's really just content to continue to trade chances.
Yeah, and again, it's shaping up to be a very similar game to Game 1. And in Game 1, came down to a mistake from the Hawks that left their goal line empty, and the Comets were able to capitalize. We'll see if either side leaves such a gap in game number 5. Once again, a very important game for the Hawks, because the Comets have already won the set. They've won 3 games already, and this will just be, you know, just padding that stat. So we'll see if the Hawks can take a game 5, keep it a close series, not go out 4-1, but only 3-2. There's Hell with a long clear as we approach the 2nd minute of overtime. Still nothing too scary from either side. Both teams playing very passively. I think both teams are hoping for a mistake, an easy mistake, an obvious mistake to capitalize on.
Yeah, neither team really setting themselves up for failure right now. Is a little bit of an overcommit by the Hawks one way. They find themselves defending here, and the Comets not a great place to take advantage of that too. They're both kind of in that corner, but low on boost.
1.5 games of Rocket League played in 1 game of Rocket League. How does the math work out? I don't know, don't ask me, but somehow it does. There's Alcedo looking to push past the midfield line. He gets intercepted though by Ellendale. Hell backing up when you said no team, you know, wanting to have any errors. They don't want to even think about errors. There's one though from the boys in red, and the Comets are able to capitalize because hesitation from the Hawks leads to an empty far post.
Part of that, too, just comes down to them getting clustered up right near that ball. I think Hell was a little low on boost. Ellendale went behind him, facing away from the play. Midnight didn't have any boost. Just put it upfield in an awkward spot, found the angle right out of that corner. That'll take away this game for the Comets. They win the series 4-1 as the Hawks look to continue to try and find some ground as we move towards the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the Comets, they still haven't hit 500, though. They were 8-12 before, and that means that they're now 12-13. Whereas the Hawks are, you know, going further and further back into the negative side. They've got, what are they at now, 10-15. So it is difficult, as Narblood explains to me the math of the situation. Thank you so much. You're a genius, my friend. But that is it for this set. The Comets win 4-1. Hard-fought battle. And I do love how, you know, it was sort of full circle. We saw a very close, tight game 1, and then random stuff, and then game 5 was the same situation. A lot of shots on net, very few goals, and it came down to an overtime mistake. So a nice little first full circle thing there for both sides, and the Comets won it in both overtimes.
Yeah, a couple of really good overtime games. The Comets kind of against the run of it, being able to drag out those 2 wins, but, you know, full credit to them. They played a really good set, and the Hawks, I think, might look back on this one and be a little bit upset with themselves that they just couldn't convert on the opportunities that they had. But they did really get suffocated out of the middle of those games. 3 and 4 really come to mind where they just could not generate offense. And, you know, part of the reason they went down 4-1 in the set. But if you liked any of the plays that you guys saw, make sure you've clipped them. Send them to us at MLDoubles, hashtag MLDPOTW. Submit them for the MLD Play of the Week. Presented by our friends at Balls Guarana Energy Soda. Winner each week, as voted by you, the fans, gets a case of Balls Energy Soda shipped right to their door. Get free shipping on your next order. Code MLD at ballsbawls.com. And as you guys have noticed, we've got a giveaway going right now in the chat. We're going to be giving away a headset to one lucky viewer. If you've been watching for a long time, you'll be noticing people collecting those bread loaves in the chat. Check your totals out with either the points or the loaves command. They are on a pretty long cooldown, so if you've done it recently, don't do it. Let somebody else do it. And exchange them 15 points for a ticket. Get yourself in that draw. We'll be doing it when we come back after this. The final matchup of us here at MLD. The Platinum League taking the final focus. The Demolition and the Comets, as the Comets get both stream slots to end out the weekend. We'll see you back right after this.